Weather is huge in terms of our mood as human beings in daily life. We're very in tune with the weather, and you'll notice the differences of people, whether they live in a really cold climate with snow or a really warm climate with a bunch of sun versus a climate with a bunch of rain. You'll notice how that affects people's moods and it affects their lives. Even too, like out here selling tie dye on the beaches of San Diego, it's just such a warm vibe just being out here in the sun. Like this is late October and it's sunny out today. I could go jump in the water. The water's nice. The water's beautiful, and it adds so much to daily life when you're not shoveling snow off the driveway or constantly dealing with rain and clouds and darkness. We're very in tune with everything that's going on with nature and plants and animals, weather included with that, and it's one of those things that you don't really think about. Like you wake up every day, and whether you go to work, go to school, make your breakfast, whatever daily stuff you're doing for the day, weather is just there. Like, yeah, you might hear on the news, like, oh, it's going to be this many degrees today, or it's going to rain in a week or something. But as you get older, you get so accustomed to just another day adding on to the last day in your life, just progressing and getting older, that weather is something that kind of takes a back seat. You don't really think of it as a super important part of our life. But a lot of times, when you're thinking about like how you're being affected by things in the course of your life and what direction to take your life, when I tell people that I sell tie dye for a nonprofit in San Diego, most people get it and then most people think it's like a really cool job. But some people take it to that, well, do they pay your health insurance? Or like, what's your backup plan? Or like, you can't sell shirts forever. But it's like the person who's saying that, for one, you're wearing a shirt, right? But you just bought it from like Nike or Walmart or some other chain. So they see you like doing something enjoyable, like out in the sun, and they don't understand that like when a tourist comes to San Diego, I'm just selling a shirt. Like that's just what I'm doing, right? They don't get it, because it's just like they see what they think is like a fun job, or you're taking the easy way out, and so they say something like that, like, oh, what's your backup plan, or do they pay your health insurance, or like some little jab to kind of like get you away from something that's bright and energetic. People wonder a lot of times why they're so depressed all the time, and why they're just confused and they're lost in life, because you look at, like, take a dog and keep it in a crate or a cage. It's not nearly as happy as when it's out of the cage running around with a tennis ball, in the sun, like eating food, wagging its tail, just like jumping on the couch and jumping back down, just like the little stuff that you don't think about that really makes that dog's life a lot happier. Humans are like that. Like, you take a person that's not meant for cubicle work and you place them in a cubicle with four walls around them, no human interaction. You just give them a computer and a screen and a task to do that they're not even passionate about. It's like a cage, and they're not even outside. It's an artificial lighting, and so that has effects. So that person might think, because of the way they've been taught with things, that, oh yeah, I've got this nice stable job, and I'm prepared for the rest of my life, and I'm collecting Social Security, and it has good benefits. And that's another funny thing too, the benefits. It's like someone will have a soul-crushing job that they don't like, and they'll talk about good health benefits, like the total irony of that. Whereas if you had something that you liked, that you got up and you were passionate about and enjoyed, like fresh air, stuff like that, you wouldn't need as many health benefits, because you're just already living healthy. It's like, yeah, with some jobs you need all those health benefits, because you're going to be dead at 40 if you keep doing that. And so weather is huge. Just like, part of the reason I love doing this is not even just making sales. I mean, people come up all the time and don't buy something. I mean, more people don't buy something than do buy something. If the majority of people that walked by at the beach bought something, I'd be getting rich off this. That's not every person that walks by is a customer. Most people walk by and don't even acknowledge it. Some people come up and decide they don't want to buy something. We talk about something else, and it's totally cool. Like, nobody owes me a sale. It's not about making sales. Like, I want to make enough that I can afford rent and food. So yeah, I want enough people to buy, but it's not about every person needs to, or whatever. So I just come here to the beach and I just kick back, and I just I don't pretend to be like a mall kiosk worker, like standing in front where people like have to approach me or they have to pass me for an interaction so I can make my pitch. I just kick back in the chair, look around. Sometimes I'll get up and just like go stare at the water, depending on where I'm working, different spots in San Diego. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It's important. Like, I can't stress that enough to people that don't understand certain things. Like, it's important for me to be outside. It's important for me to get fresh air. It's important for me to be out here in the community where people are on vacation, or they're locals that are out at the beach and they're in a good mood. Their good mood makes me in a better mood, and then my better mood makes them in a better mood, and it's just all it all adds on to itself. And even like I was saying with the cubicle, it can work the other way too, where someone, the way their personality is they fear human interaction, so they like that little confined space where they just have their set task. That could work for someone, but again, when it comes back to like the artificial light and always being inside and kind of being shut off from our senses, us as humans, there's a time in human history where we're outside and we're nomadic people, and then maybe we're gardening and farming and out there hunting and just in the wild and actually being out in nature. So in modern society, when you're taking humans and placing them inside for long periods of time, and now you're adding phones and computers and screens and all this artificial stuff, it gets to people. So people talk about, oh, the increase of depression and mental health awareness, and that everyone was always saying that, like, oh, mental health, mental health. And if you say anything that's constructive or tries to help see someone understand a brighter point, people get very offended by that and say, oh, well, you can't be talking about mental health, or how dare you make light of my depression. But it's like there's certain ways to just like be less depressed. There's certain ways to just think of stuff better at an older age. It's just like being outside, the sun, like just being in the light, like the sun shining, and just like there's birds here, and like I was just looking at some seals that were in the water playing, and just like people with their families on the beach, and just like grass, just like stuff that makes sense, stuff that's just like that's real, that you can feel, that has like an energy to it, like a vibe. Just that the whole corporate stuff, man, just like sitting in a chair and then like you're doing something that you don't really want to do. It just that's it's no good. I mean, with my last job at a hotel, yeah, I'd be inside a lot, but at least I believed in that. I believed in helping people have a good vacation. Some people out here have this soul-crushing job, which you might have to do for a certain period of time depending on your circumstance, but some people just get so locked in, they're in this same spot that they know they hate for 40 years, and they don't make moves, and then they use that frustration, and they take it and they put it onto their family, they put it onto their friends, they put it onto the guy walking by, they take their frustrated circumstance and try to put that onto other people. So when we're talking about weather, it's huge. Like there's a difference between getting up and like the sun is shining and it's warm versus getting up and it's the 20th day in a row that it's raining and you're going back to your job that you don't like. Like think about the difference of that. Like someone in San Diego, California, liking their job in the sun versus someone in Maine in the middle of winter that doesn't like their job. It's below freezing, their car's not even starting, and they have to shovel the driveway, but once they shovel the driveway, now their car won't even start because it's too cold. In the middle of doing all of that, they're freezing and they hate their job, so they're going to this job that they don't like, and then like they have this relationship issue, this family issue, other life stuff that comes on. So like the weather is just huge, just like adding on to that, like it just like adds on to whatever is already there. So don't discount the importance of weather or how it affects our society or how our lives. We are a part of everything that's going on. We are mortal like a plant and an animal. We are mortal beings that pass on in this life, and we're connected to everything. We're connected to weather and the patterns of that, and sun and moon and grass and trees and the animals and the air, the oxygen. And so that's why when people go on vacation, a lot of times you'll see them go somewhere where they can be outside and enjoy themselves. Like people don't go on vacation to just sit in the hotel room. I mean, how many people actually go on vacation to just sit somewhere inside their hotel room? Most people don't do that because we're not meant to just be boxed up. When most people are just boxed up their whole life at their job or whatever, it's like their escape to do that. So even if you're telling yourself, yeah, I like this job where I'm just like inside all day, like boxed up in this one confined space, you might tell yourself that because it's paying you like 50 grand a year, or you think it has good benefits, or whatever you were sold on for the positive of that job. And it might work for you, for your personality or for your current circumstance. But understand, when you go on vacation, why do you not stay in your room the whole time? If you enjoy that space, that inside job, that comfort, that cage, if you think that that's like a very positive thing, when you're on vacation, how come you don't just sit in the hotel room? Because this is where it's at. It's outdoors, it's life, it's just nature. It's just like where we naturally are before we build these walls and buildings and metal and plastic and cars. This is where it is, in the oxygen, the sky, the water. Like this is where all of that actually is. This is where life happens. So weather is very important. This would be a very different video, a very different vibe right now if it was just pouring rain. If it was snowing, I mean that, and a lot of people too, like for San Diego, people that come here, and it's called a lot of times America's finest city. Weather has a huge part in that, in a huge part in like how people are living to the next day, how people are vibing, how people's moods are, and if it's affecting people's mood in a positive way, then it's going to reciprocate onto other people in their lives. So it's like a ripple effect. We're all out here in the sun, so we're all in general going to be in like a positive mood. And we're going through things in life anyways as it is, so at least the sun kind of like, it's like a rejuvenating thing where you can kind of relax for a bit and take it in and just get the rays of the sun and feel good, like warm energy. So we're already going through whatever we're going through in life, but the sun can kind of just like add to it, make it a little brighter. But if we were going through what we were going through and then it's like pouring rain all the time, snow, that just compounds into the negative side of things. And some people do like the snow, some people do like the rain. And for me, because I live in San Diego, whenever I go to the snow or the rain, it's so foreign to me that I really enjoy that, because it's like the different thing. But that's how when people come here, they look at the ocean. Like I'll meet people all the time. They're like 30, 40 years old, seeing the ocean for the first time, and they're just like in awe. They're amazed by it. And I have to remind myself, like, yeah, this person's from like Kansas or something. Like they're landlocked. They've never seen the ocean. That's like me. I've only seen the snow in my life maybe 5, 6 times. So like I'm always excited when I get to see snow, but it's someone who's just in it every winter shoveling snow off the driveway. They're not like me, where they're just like eager to go build snowmen every day and go sledding. Like it's a different vibe. So when this is my backyard in San Diego, and it has been my whole life, I don't have that same appreciation for it as somebody who comes here from like snow or cold weather, or has never seen the ocean. So they have a better perspective of appreciation. Whereas I can drive here every day and I work here every day. So I have to really remind myself to take notice of how awesome it is and how beautiful it is and how grateful I am to be working here, selling tie-dye for a living right now. It's a good vibe, and it's a good feeling to do this in my hometown. I just love this city, and just warm weather, not harsh winters. Like I can go to the beach in December and January. It adds so much to your life. It adds so much to your existence. And people talk about California prices all the time, which I agree, it's super expensive out here. For what I'm paying for a little 804 square foot back house, I would be having like a 2-story house with like a 2-car garage in like a lot of states. But I'd rather live in like a little shack here and just have the elements and have the outdoors than to live in most places. But it's just more material stuff. It's like, yeah, like I have a staircase to go up to like another level of the house to just fill more stuff in the house that's material, that's not energy, that's not sun, that's not like life just blooming and like birds and animals everywhere. It's a huge factor in our existence, in our happiness, and how we're interacting with other people. Warm weather and positivity, and weather to the point where too, like if it's freezing cold, you got to put a bunch of layers on so that you don't freeze. Like having the weather to a point where you can just kind of go shirtless on a beach because you don't need any extra protection. Like it's good to be in that natural state where you don't need all this added stuff. Like it's good to just be somewhere that's just like a positive vibe. Like right now, I'm getting to the end of my day for selling tie-dye. I go from 9 a.m. to the sunset of that day, and we're about to put the clocks back tomorrow, which is going to have earlier days for getting off. But even this late into the evening, it's just so mellow here, and everyone's just enjoying it. And everyone that comes here to San Diego, and I talk to them, it's like, man, if I could live here, I would live here. You're so lucky to live here. And it's funny to hear that because it's like my hometown. So even someone from like a small town in Kansas, like that's how I look at San Diego, because if I'm born here, that's just what I know. It's just my circumstance. But had I grew up in Alaska, my whole personality might be different, because your day-to-day experience is different. So you would be different, even though you're the same person. If you took like 2 twins and then you raised one in Alaska and one in San Diego, you would see the difference of weather. You would see how that impacts the person. That's actually a good social experiment. Take 2 twins, and one in a cold, one in a warm, and just see how it grows up. But yeah, weather's impactful. We're a part of nature, and it's important to take note of weather.